Hello, my name is Sabino Rivera, and I would like to welcome you to Casi Cielo, almost heaven. I did Superfund cleanups throughout the state of New Mexico for 25 years, which really leads me to my love of the land here in New Mexico. I'm a fourth generation rancher, farmer, and I am just deeply embedded in the land. And I think my former career, my former life, has really transitioned me well to my love of the land here, where I live at now. As you walk out my door, we are surrounded by stands of mature gamble oak, lots of juniper, ponderosa pine, pinon, and maybe 300 feet you walk out to a field that is about 8 acres of pasture, variegated grass, and a little bit of alfalfa. Elk here have been, they transition. There's a resident herd now of about maybe 12 cows and 1 bull. They find this area where they're at is protected. They have no predation. They have all the elements here for cover, feed, and water, and they love staying here. They don't respect fences. They can just plow right through a fence, and in the fall, it takes me about 3 weeks for repairing fences. And just last fall, I found a young cow, yearling, entangled in a barbed wire fence. It feels pretty, it's just disheartening. Even now, I just get choked up. I found her 3 days later. I had left town and came back, and I found her, and all that was left was her front shoulder.
So my name is Kathy McKim, and I am a coordinating wildlife biologist. I work in northern New Mexico with landowners, with federal and state agencies, and with NGOs. I talk to folks and try to figure out their priorities, their projects, and what's missing. And then if I've talked to somebody in the interim, I might be able to figure out how to put those two entities together. Part of my position is to try to get wildlife habitat on the ground in that migration corridor to help mule deer, elk, and pronghorn in New Mexico. Sabino is in a migration corridor for elk, and from a landowner's perspective, elk are very destructive. They bed on your hay. That hay is gone. When they're that entrenched on that property and you're providing that much food, water, shelter, and space, they're not leaving.
So the fencing project is going to evolve. It's called a wildlife-friendly fencing. Supposedly, in theory, elk jumping, its hind legs will clear the smooth strand of wire on top, and the babies and the youngsters can crawl underneath and not get tangled up in the barbed wire. If you were to hire a local fencing, they wouldn't do it for any less than $15 a foot. So to fence this project, it'd be close to $70,000.
It's $26,500 a mile. That doesn't count for corners, and it doesn't count for gates.
It's crazy expensive.
Partners for Fish and Wildlife only does habitat on private land, all right? And that's really big. Had I known that in my previous careers, I would have used them a lot. I didn't know that they had an arm that only worked habitat on private property. That's huge. I mean, that's really huge, and I don't think a lot of landowners are aware of it. The Partners for Fish and Wildlife was looking for the same sort of outcomes that Sabino's looking for. And it worked out in the best possible scenario to put this project here because it does encompass the wildlife corridor in New Mexico for elk. It does encompass migratory birds. He provides a lot of nesting.
I love birds, and you can probably see my birdhouses all over. But as part of this project that we are, part of my deal was that I need to build 20 birdhouses and 2 owl nesting boxes. And also part of that is I am leaving about a 6-foot swath of uncut hay along my borders of my property for the pollinators and the migratory birds to feed on.
This is the one I really want folks to understand is New Mexico would not have healthy wildlife without landowners. The private landowner has provided really good habitat, and that's why you have wildlife there.